Hey, everybody! Thank you for joining me Monday, starting off another week. So, um, I know it's been kind of different where now days seem to be running into each other because, again, everything's been changing, everything's crazy, but it is Monday for those who still have some kind of semblance of a normal schedule. Like I still, I mean, luckily I have been. Again, not everybody is. So, but on that note, real quick, let me go ahead and jump into all the particulars before we get rolling. Guys, if you're watching us live on YouTube, do us a favor, hit the like and subscribe button there. We're trying to build our viewership on YouTube. Um, Gives us avenues to be a little bit more creative with some of the things we can do. We can do different tags. There's a lot of things that go along with that. So if you are watching there, do us a favor again, hit the like and subscribe button. Also hit the notifications. It'll let you know whenever new episodes, new lives come out, or when we're streaming live. So I would greatly appreciate it if you could do that. You can also go to the website right now and follow us there on the live stream. We're streaming live on the website at www.madefromscratchpodcast.com. We stream our shows Monday through Friday there live, and then you can also go there and find our backlog of material, past episodes. You can find past podcast episodes as well because we do turn it into a podcast afterwards. And we also streaming live. We have a radio station that we stream live there, which we do play replays of the podcast on there as well as a little bit of music that we're mixing in. Sort of a different sort of avenue that we're adding to what I do. So again, guys, thank you very much, and then follow us on Twitter at we're streaming live there through Periscope. You can follow there at MFSB Live over there on Twitter. We also do a separate thing that we do on Instagram, which is kind of like our behind the scenes sort of thing. So everybody can see me talking on Instagram, and they can kind of see where the mic is, that sort of thing set up. So a little bit different, but you can also follow us there at Made from Scratch Broadcast there, or you can follow us on our Facebook page. Again, same thing at Made from Scratch Broadcast there as well. So getting all the particulars covered. Again, we are starting this week off on a good foot, I hope. So this evening's guest that I have on, she is she does coaching, but she also does a variety of things, and a lot of it she deals with professionals and entrepreneurs. So, but she has a lot of different aspects to her, and one of the things that I like is that she is very feisty, and she does let you know she's a straight shooter. And that's kind of like why I started watching her a lot on Instagram. So she does have her other social media platforms, but I enjoy her more on Instagram just because you get to see a lot more candid aspect of her. So guys, do me a big favor and help me introduce Brandy Holloway to the show. Hey, Brandy.
Hey, what's up?
What are you doing? How's you going? How's everything going out there? And you said Virginia, correct?
Yes, Virginia. Well,
Vir-
I'm thankful we have power because we had some crazy storms come through today, and
yeah.
I'm now calling this Malbec Monday or Merlot Monday.
There we
Because
go.
we're all quarantined anyway, so
Yeah.
enjoy my wine. But yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm used to working from home anyway.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that um, I've seen you getting a lot of attention getting on your Instagram account because you do a lot of lives on there. You do other things, but you do also have other social media platforms. You do have your LinkedIn account, which is where I initially met you. And again, I got to give props to my mentor. I call him. His name is Russ Johns, and Russ. He kind of helped me get all this on there. And that was the first time I was introduced to you. So after that, I started following you because, I like the way you talk and the things that you talked about and the way you had that sort of fire, passion. So, yeah, I started following you there. And then, of course, I started connecting on your Facebook and all the other things. But one of the things that really uh, that really interests me about what you were doing is that you have a brand and you have a your company, the Phoenix. the Phoenix Factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Uh, Most people, when I see like do branding or consulting, it's usually just one person, but you actually have a group of people, which is like, I was like, wow, that's, your reach is a little bit, you have a little bit more reach when you reach out, be able to, again, it offers different perspectives, but also aligns with who you are as a brand and as people. So I kind of like that when I first started checking into you and following your company. I was like, okay, cool. I mean, because again, most people, when they do talk about branding or when they do personal branding, it's usually just one person going out there. I like the fact that you have enough trust in other people to go out there and also share what you're trying to get, your message and what you're trying to share to people, but you also have other people that you trust enough to go out there and spread that message. So you're really good at delegating, which is what kind of like, I was like, wow, okay, that's not a lot of people can do that. So let's go ahead and start talking about you a little bit. For those of you in my audience who aren't too familiar with Brandy, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself as far as personally, then we'll go into like your career. So like what are some of the things that I know you were what, you spent 17 years as a fitness trainer.
Fitness and
So
wellness. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
tell us a little bit more about that a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of what really got me into what I'm doing now. I grew up in Alabama, where I tell everybody everything's deep fried and covered in ranch. And,
Yes.
not the healthiest. And
Yeah. Wow.
I got into fitness and wellness really because I wanted to be healthier. I was doing all the bad things. I was a smoker, a drinker, just all the, really, I didn't even get it really healthy until my 20s, early 20s. But I loved it. And what I found, and I was blessed with a mentor really early on too with that, is that it's not rocket science to eat healthy and exercise. It's like, why aren't people doing that? And I
Yeah.
feel like that's what gave me an edge. So I kind of took that mindset on really quickly, not really knowing that I should have been studying mindset all along,
Yeah.
because that's the basis of everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I loved it. I did really well at it. And then fast forwarding through all those years, I tried different avenues, managing clubs, kind of having my own thing going on. But about 8 years ago, 9 years ago, I started my own studio.
Yeah.
Borrowed a lot of money. I was married at the time. Was pregnant, 2 months pregnant when I decided to start it. And a couple of months after I had my daughter, my whole life fell apart. And my marriage, lost my business, lost my house,
Else.
lost everything.
Everything went. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything burnt up. Well, I mean, again, um, you don't always plan for those sort of things, but life just happens. Has a way to life has a way to actually just show up, even when you have the best laid plans out. You're just like, okay, I'm gonna have this business. I'm having a family. I'm having all of a sudden, then life says, oh, wait a minute, let me show you something, and then bam, it just happens. But again, it's all about it's not how you get knocked down, it's how many times you get back up, which is what says something about your character and that sort of thing. So tell me, how did you get started into actually doing, consulting and starting your own business that way after, again, having a business crash, your life fall apart? So how did you find the means to recover, and then what started you to want to do consulting?
I think I wish somebody had, either really literally or metaphorically slapped me across the face when I started the business, because the truth of the matter is, like I said, I brought an investor, borrowed a lot of money. I was really good at what I did, but I wasn't good at business. And there's so many aspects of business that people have to understand. And if I could help some people not make those mistakes and understand the foundation, what's your 30,000, foot view? You can go to people and, like, just because you're good at something is not going to make you successful at business.
Yeah.
So branding and, creativity and strategy has always been a strength for me. I've been writing since I was 11. I've always been very creative. I didn't know that I could do that and make money doing that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the consulting just kind of started with mainly people in the fitness and wellness industry, which made sense, of course. And then
Yeah.
as I kind of took a deeper dive, I realized that foundationally, I could apply what I was using towards a lot of people. And social media, people my age, I'm 47, a lot of people in my age bracket were like, oh, I don't need social media. Yeah, you do need social media. And now more than ever, not to, like push the subject, but people are understanding how much you need it. I'm able to work right now. I'm
Yeah.
able to still take clients. I'm still able to help people. And right now I'm trying to really help people pivot to understand that I would anticipate this again. I wouldn't be dumb and go back to my old ways and just completely ignore virtual services after this, for sure.
Yeah. So let's talk about that because that's becoming a buzzword right now. Is pivoting. Kind of explain um, how somebody could pivot and change direction, and then what kind of steps would you recommend? Say somebody who came to you and said, "Hey, look, I see the glaring need now. I know I've made mistakes in the past. What can I do to going forward that will help me, you know, uh, build and plan for something like this in case anything, who knows, whatever the apocalypse comes tomorrow." But what are some of the things that you would tell somebody? Just say, hey, how can I just turn what I'm doing now into something a little bit more productive?
Yeah,
That
I mean,
makes
I
any
think,
sense.
obviously, and my heart goes out to everyone with a brick and mortar business right now that had to shut their doors because I've been there. I had to close mine permanently. But we have several clients right now that we are actually showing them how to do this pivot, that have a restaurant or that have a gym or that have a spa. And the biggest thing that I can tell everyone is if you know your ideal client avatar and you know their need, then there is a way to meet that need virtually. We've told massage therapists teach people self massage, or if it's couples, teach them, massage for each other. If you do nutrition, go online and teach different aspects of nutrition every day. If you have a gym, obviously that's an obvious. Go in and teach different things for people. I think the biggest two things right now are engage. People are not going to know who you are until you go and talk to them and comment and let people know, who you are, and consistency on social media. Um, we've always heard the term, oh, that industry is saturated. No one's going to know.
Yeah.
I call BS on that. However, right now it's saturated, but it's saturated in a great way
Right. Yeah.
because we have your buyers on that are saturating it, not other people in your industry. So the biggest thing that I could tell anyone, and it's a takeaway from Blue Ocean Strategy. If anyone's read that book, it's phenomenal for marketing. I highly suggest it. But it's like, stop focusing on your competition and how you can beat them, right? To me, it's focus on what your ideal client needs, because you're going to be able to give it to them in a way that they want it, that your competition can't. And you find your group. People are just so caught up in followers right now. I need 10,000 followers. I need 20,000. I'm like, look, if I put 100 people in front of you right now, are you telling me that wouldn't be enough? I don't know what your conversions are,
Yeah.
with your rate, but let's say, I don't know, let's lowball and say you're 20%, which is really low on conversions. That's 20 new clients out of 100 people. Are
Yeah.
you telling me that would help you? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And again, what good is 100 people in front of you if you don't get any kind of, you don't get anything out of it? I mean, what's the point of having 100,000 followers if you're not able to use that voice, that influence, that forum
Yeah.
to do things with it? If you're
Create
just
value,
yes,
create value.
yes,
Everybody's so scared to give away they think what they have is a secret. It's not a secret. We're not reinventing the wheel. No one's doing anything original. We're just doing it in our own way, you
yeah.
know?
Again, I tell people I'm not the only person doing this right here, but this is my own unique take on it.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I bring. This is what when you're saying value, this is the value that I bring. So whenever I do this every day, and I sit here and I plan and I try to get everything together, this is what I want to bring and this is what I want to share to people. You can do this. Anybody can do this. And again, like you said, you're not reinventing the wheel. So if you haven't started, what better time than now? I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of people are, they're not going anywhere. So, put in the time, put in the effort, and I think again, like you said, you'll be able to turn, you'll be able to reach the client that you want to reach because you can concentrate and do those sort of things and get, what you want to get across to these people who you know who you're targeting, who you're trying to just specifically say, this is what I want to shoot for. You know, because again, I opened my form a little bit up because initially I wanted to do just creative people, but I said, you know what? I started realizing a lot more people are creative than just, you know, painting or writing or drawing or doing all these. People have creativity in so many different ways.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
So creating content. If you can create content, you can be creative then, and that's why I say so. People are like, why are you bringing on life coaches? Is that your market? I said no, but what they do, what they create, that's my market because it's about creativity and the creativity process. Everybody has a different way. Every single musician that I've had on my show has a different way that they approach creativity. The end result is the same. You again, like you were talking about, the market might be saturated. Yeah, right. How many musicians are out there? How many songs are created? How many books are written? And yet people still read. People still make money. People. So it's about what you want to go do and who you're trying to aim for. So that's why I tell everybody, look, if you can come on my show, you're creative. I already feel that you've done creative. Um, so let me ask you about. You know, we were talking about your. One of the things you wanted to mention was your Facebook group. Because you've opened up your Facebook group to you know, a lot more other people. So kind of tell us a little bit more about what you have to offer. What are some of the things that like entrepreneurs or professionals can take away from going to your group, and what kind of lessons can they expect to learn from Miss Brandy?
Yeah, so we call it the Inferno Academy. Um, we have the four pillars that we kind of base everything on. It's ignite, burn, rise, soar. And what we teach everyone, the reason I named the company Phoenix Factor is you're going to fail. Okay. So how you fail and how you react to that failure will make all the difference. And the earlier you can learn that. So to me, a lot of people get offended when you make a suggestion on something they've done. And I'm like, that's fine. But I would rather, I tell people, shred me up, tear me down so I can build up stronger. So in the group, people come into the group knowing that's what we're doing. We do strategy sessions. Right now, I open the group up through June 15th, completely free. It's usually a monthly subscription of $49. I do tutorials on LinkedIn, optimizing your LinkedIn, your TikTok, your Facebook, your Instagram. I am not a guru. Are there people out there that know more than me? Hell yes. And you know what? When you reach a certain level, the whole idea is I want to get you set up for success. And we call it the Inferno Academy because I'm like, if you're not creating an inferno, you're going to get lost in the mix. Like you literally have to have your passion, your fire burning so freaking hot. And it doesn't have to be on all the platforms. I think a lot of people get lost. So I tell my group, look, if you know your ideal client avatar is 100% on Facebook, then screw Instagram right now. Don't worry about it. But it's pretty easy to push a little button to repurpose over there and find a new audience. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty easy to push another copy and paste button and push it over to LinkedIn or Twitter or TikTok, whatever, I mean, and right now, a lot of people don't understand how incredibly valuable like video and podcasting. And, you could repurpose what we're doing tonight probably in 10 different ways from one action. And that's kind of what I try to get across to everyone. So we do tutorials, we do strategy sessions. My biggest thing for entrepreneurs, I have an affinity for the brick and mortar people because of what happened to me. So I'm like, look, get your ass out there and collaborate with people. Let them know who you are. Don't work with every Tom, Dick, and Harry either. That was another thing is like anybody that wanted to work with me, I would work with them. If they don't align with your vision, your mission, if you can't see yourself working with them 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the road, don't waste your time now.
Yeah.
Just because you're so hungry or thirsty for, what they've got. And right now, I think a lot of people, majority of us, even I am worried about the economy and what's going on, but you've got to be consistent in what you're offering and the value that you offer. And collaboration and community, especially if you're local, is key.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Yes. Because again, I grew up in an entrepreneurial background with my grandparents. They started a business back in 1950, so it's been in business. I guess we're going on now 60 60, no, almost 70 years this
70,
year.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
So, I got to see that growing up. So I kind of understood that. And one of the things that I think that, we're learning now, even us being in, my uncles and them are the ones that still run the business, but what they're learning now is that still, even having a brick and mortar is great, but there are other ways to bring in revenue streams. There's other ways. That's one of the things I've been preaching to them. I said, look, you don't have to wait for the world to come to you. You can go to the world now. You can literally do everything you want to do. So if you want to do e-commerce, if you wanted to go do branding, if you want to go all this stuff here, and again, like you said, it's very simple. With the click of a button,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can
I
do.
will say one thing that I'm seeing a lot of people do that I hope some people will hear this is don't go so crazy doing something else though, however, that you're not going to want to do once this is over. Once
Yeah,
things I don't think are going to go back to normal after this ever again. But I will say just be certain that whatever you're putting forth, if you're starting a podcast now, great, do it. Just make sure that you can stay consistent with it after. I would probably have a much larger following than I do. I would probably be a lot further than I am. I was the queen of that. I'd start something and I'd start something else, and I'd start something else, and I'd start something else. And I finally just had to kind of have it drilled in my head, which is another reason I like having a team. I like having the accountability,
yeah, there you go.
especially my right hand girl, because I told her when we started working, I'm like, I need you to crack the whip and tell me no. I need you
Yeah.
to tell me we're going to put this in this book right here, and we're gonna work on that later. But right now, we're going to stay focused on this. And
Hmm.
it took about 7 months, this just for me to kind of get there. And so for us to pivot here when this happened, it wasn't hard
Yeah.
because we're already online. But people that have the brick and mortar, there's so many things that you can do. Even if you can't open up your doors, even if you can't sell your tangible product right now, you can sell the knowledge you have, and people appreciate that. They need to like, know, and trust you first anyway.
Yeah, there you go. And again, this using this what we're using now, and again, I tell people this, look, if you're trying to just get a message out there or just start doing anything, you don't have to start with all the fancy gadgets. You don't have to do what I'm doing is a bit extreme. You don't have to do this. You can go to Facebook, you can go to Instagram, you can go to
Mhm.
any of these other places. If you already start a free account, get on there, get live, start sharing videos, start talking about things, sharing the knowledge that you know. It doesn't cost anything to do that at all. Nothing at all. So, um, you know, when in like what you were saying is literally you got to be able to, especially right now, if you're having a brick and mortar and you're having a tough time, if you have to do the things you got to learn to adjust. Everything about right now, everything in life. I mean, everything in life is about adjusting right now.
Yeah.
Schooling is about adjusting. Education, going to the store is adjusting. Just living life right now is learning how to adjust. So, if you've always been so, you know, put into a routine, your world is in a tizzy right now. You don't
Yeah.
know. You don't know what. You don't know if you left foot from your right foot right now. So it's good that you talk about that, and that's one of the things that you share because I kind of like you. I used to start things and wouldn't get no traction behind it because I would start and I go, oh, and then start doing something else, and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So that's one of the things about this year that that I told myself is just to push myself and challenge myself to kind of stay focused on all the things that if I'm going to jump into this, I got to stay focused and really work hard at doing it because if not, I'm just going to walk away and abandon it, just like a lot of other things. So, even now, I'm a writer by trade. That's one of the things that I love doing. So, I'm writing a second book, and even though even though I haven't even published the first one yet because I'm working the back sort of things to get all that set up, which I'll have done here pretty soon with the next couple of weeks. But um, writing the second book, it's becoming easier, but the hard part is starting to focus because I'm doing this. I'm doing the podcast now. I'm doing a lot of other things, but I sat down this weekend and I said that was one of the things that I have to do, though, is go back and focus on writing, because that was the initial goal when I first started the year, was to publish 3 books.
Yeah.
That was my goal. It was the vision. So I said, okay, wait a minute. What if something's going to be affecting me completing that goal? I'm going to have a hard time doing this, because I've also set a goal to do 100 episodes of this stuff here, doing the live streaming here. So very lost.
I do an exercise with people when they start talking about all these things, and I'm like, it's called then what? And I ask them then what until they literally get to the end, because that's the thing. I'm like, when you're entertaining a thought, you kind of have to ask yourself where that came from. Because that was my thing as a creative, and you probably run into this. If you're naturally a creative person, of course you're going to have a ton of ideas. Of course you're going to want to start a million things. But what you have to learn, and the earlier you learn this, the better. Once again, it won't cost you time and money like it did me. Is you know what you're really good at. You know the one thing you're really good at that other people out there need. And I knew for me it was strategy and content. Like, I know what I'm good at. I can do a lot of other things. I can teach you Instagram. I'm not the best. I can teach you TikTok. I'm not the best. But so it's like, but the voice, the consistency of a podcast or a blog or going live is really what will get you there. So I think it's just when you were talking about routine earlier, pick one thing, get really good at it, get really consistent at it, then move to the next thing. Because I think we just try to go gung-ho with everything. And if you don't have a team or you're not ready for that, then you're probably going to have a lot of consequences you're not ready for.
Yeah, ready for. Yeah, so that's kind of the thing. And I had somebody teach me this. My podcast co-host was the one that kind of taught me. She goes, you know what? You need to put your goals. She goes, you know what a SMART goal is? I said, what? I said, a SMART goal. I said, no, what is a SMART goal? Please explain it to me. Yeah. And she kind of laid it out for me. So I said, okay, that makes sense. Let me start doing that. So that's what I started doing with every single creative aspect that I do. So I write it out and I read it back to myself and I go, okay, can I, first of all, that's one of the things I look at. Is it attainable? Can I attain it? And if I can really truly look at myself and answer yes, okay, I give it a go, because I already laid out kind of what I'm going to do with it. What are my exact intentions with it? So
that's the key. What are my intentions? I think that's the thing is, like, if I ask everybody, if I run into you, if I'm like, Gabriel, if I run into you 5 years from now, tell me what people are going to be saying about this podcast and your work that you're doing. What impact did you have? What legacy are you leaving? I mean, if you're not thinking on that level, then you're probably not working from a passionate point. You're working from, something that you kind of like to do. Yeah. And for me, I think that was the shift in a lot of people noticing me, is I was like, you know what? I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done with trying to fit in with everyone. I don't give a shit what anybody says anymore. I care about people. I love people. Like, I will give the shirt off my back, but I will not play into the mentality of you being a victim and, blame, shame game. And I'm not doing that anymore either. Yeah. And when you're in business, when you're an entrepreneur, you're going to get your ass kicked over and over. So I don't know where people get this idea that it's going to be all like rainbows and sunshine, but it's not.
And let me tell you, every aspect of what I've been doing behind the scenes has, that's one of the things I'm learning. It's from putting together an actual show to doing all this to learning. But again, I when I started doing this in the first place, it was just something to throw together for fun. But after the first 2 episodes, I said, okay, what am I doing? So, and everybody that I've had on, they've asked me, I said, well, now I kind of have intention. Mm-hmm. I didn't have that before. And my intention is, of course, not only first of all, this is my form of creativity. So if people ask me what goes along with it, why are you putting, this is my paintbrush. Video's my paintbrush right now. I get to go and create things. I get to put things out there that people maybe have not thought of yet. And that's one of the part of being creative. But also, to also craft an idea and a message and put it together and be able to share that with people, that was the next part of intention that I had to actually put into everything. So I was able to merge my creativity and intention with everything I want to do, because I'm like you. I'd give the shirt off my back. I love people. I love to share these kinds of ideas and bring these people to the forefront, because again, especially right now, people need to hear these messages. People need to hear it.
Yeah.
If you know, you, they'll do it subconsciously when they turn on the news. They'll hear the negativity without even planning to do it when they turn it on. They'll turn on a television set, and that's what they're going to hear: unemployment, record
Yep.
numbers, death, numbers going up. I'm like, dude, you're doing this subconsciously to yourself, and you don't even know it. So, how do you combat that? This is how I combat it. I bring interesting people on, and people who have a good message, who can share the same thing and have the same beliefs I do, and I'm going to beat everybody over the head who wants to watch it until they start listening and it goes into their mind. Because again, it's the same thing. It rings true whenever somebody tells you. If you tell a lie enough, you start believing it. So if I do the same thing with a positive message, with a positive image, if I keep beating people over the head with it, at some point in their mind, they're going to go, wait a minute. Life isn't bad. Like,
And
you
that's
know,
how it all. I mean, that's the best. It's funny. I've been rereading the Seven Spiritual Laws of Success with Deepak Chopra, and a lot of people don't equate the fact that to be an entrepreneur, you have to really be honest with yourself. You got to really be able to you got to call yourself on your bullshit. And what you're talking about, the minute you shift away, even an inch away from what your focus is, and you feel it, if it, I think that's where it gets good. I don't, when I say you get your ass kicked, I'm like, you're going to get your ass kicked in life anyway. You might as well be doing something you love.
love, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So when that happens, I always equate that, and I tell people it's kind of like having food on the table, and you see, like, I love sushi, but I hate octopus, right? I'm like, but I don't have to eat that. It can be in my face. It can be right there. It's my choice to consume it, right? So that's what I'm telling everybody right now. It's like those people that are just constantly watching the news. I don't even have cable in my house. My children, we do not do that. We have Chromecast, so it's from Hulu or Netflix. We watch it. We don't do the mainstream thing, and I intentionally did that, and I'm glad I did that, because yes, they have games, yes, they have tablets, yes, they go on YouTube, but they're watching creatives, and that's what I wanted for them.
Mm-hmm.
So some people need to take a step away from be informed, and we already know where to go. There's a website, there's a CDC, and there's a WHO. All the other crazy people out there that are, for every fact you're being told, I can find something to negate that, and you don't know what to believe right now.
Yeah, and again, it's so crazy that people actually want to do that to themselves. Is just sit there and
They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. But the question is, why are they doing it?
That's the better question, is why are they doing it to themselves? Because again, I'm like you. You can find the necessary information that you need in the sources themselves. So again, CDC.org, WHO.org. You can go find what you're looking for there. You don't have to turn on the local news, because again, anything that they're telling you, it's probably put there for sensational reasons. It's something that they got to. They're in the game to get people to watch, and what's the one thing that they're going to watch is the heartache and the again. So I used to be one of those people, and I can remember some days just crying, literally crying, going, "What the hell am I doing?"
Yeah.
Trying to figure out what the hell am I doing to myself. So I stopped. I had to. There was just too much crap that, mixed in. So if you have a good story to share, I like to see that. I like to see people. Again, these are the back streams. These are not the mainstream. So these are the back ways that you're gonna find. But there's plenty of stories out there that you can find people who do good things, who people who share, who give carelessly, who work hard to make this world a better place.
Have you seen John Krasinski's Good
Good
News
news,
podcast?
yes.
Good News Show. Like,
Yeah.
I love it. I actually discovered on TikTok that he had, the YouTube, and I was like, and I think that's the thing is, once you've heard the news for the day, other than obvious, like today I woke up to the
Yeah.
catastrophe of the tornadoes, and I messaged you, and
Yeah.
like I have family in the southern states, and checked in on some friends and things like that. But it's life. Life happens, and it happens around us, and it happens whether you know what's going on or not. And there's just so many people that are in bubbles. But as an entrepreneur, going back to that, you know, if it's not affecting your business, then you need to focus on what is affecting your business. You need to get super savvy and strategic about what you can and can't do with your business right now. And all this other negativity, I highly suggest staying away from that, because we're done hearing about it. We're sick of hearing about it. So I see a lot of entrepreneurs, I feel like that's all they talk about now. And I'm like, help people through the pandemic. That's what I say. I'm like, I'm helping you through the pandemic. But that's all I'm saying now. I'm like, I don't want to hear all the other stuff. So you're building your business, you're igniting your business, you're building a community, you're getting consistent, you're engaging with people, and do the best you can. You're going to have crappy, shitty days right now. You don't feel like doing anything. I have them. I'm not going to sit there and BS people and tell them that I don't have my moments where I sit on my couch and I'm just like, what? Like, I'm wiped for today, because I'm not used to this. I'm not used to homeschooling my kids, having them home, not being able, and I am an extrovert and introvert at the same time.
Yeah.
I love speaking at events. I love going to events. And I'm like, just like hugging. When I go to my events, I hug everyone. So I can't wait to hug a million people.
And it's so funny that we so crave that sometimes, and we don't even realize it. I was quarantined. I was quarantined 14 days because somebody that I work with, they were COVID-19 positive. I didn't get it, but I had to quarantine away from my family, and just for the protection of them, and make sure I did what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
So when I got back out and I went back to work, that was one of the first things that I found joy in, was just saying hello to somebody. I never realized how much joy you get in just saying hello and talking to somebody, and go, how are you doing? How, face to face, and seeing that sort of thing. So I can see why some people miss it. It's because it's a great way of expression when you're sitting there. I mean, it's one thing to say something to somebody, but when you can actually feel it, when somebody gives you a hug, that's like a whole different level. You get the kinetic to it. That's why that's all that goes together. That's why in marketing, when they're talking about what they call the VAK, right? It's the visual, the audio, the kinetic. When they put all those things together, those are a lot of times when you're going to make the sell. So same thing in life. When you put the visual, the audio, and the kinetic together, when you reach out to somebody, that's when you take relationships to the next level. That's when people actually feel like you care about them, that sort of thing. So I think that's why some people, that when they say, oh, he's always a touchy-feely kind of guy. Yeah, I am, but I really do miss that right now, because there's nothing like coming up to a friend and just giving him a hug. Like, what's up, man?
Yeah.
Hey, guy, because again, that's just another form of expression. So that's hard right now. I get it. It's tough. But again, I tell everybody, this is not a permanent thing either. So just, man, prepare yourself for it whenever it gets there, and enjoy it once you get to do it again, because we're all in this together. I hope everybody is really taking this seriously, because it is real and it does suck. But oh well, the sun's gonna come up tomorrow. So you still have to prepare for the day. So whether it's a good day or a bad day, you're allowed all that. it's cool to have that. It's cool to have that. Just remember, it's not always going to last, though.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not always going to last. It's like anything. Um, you can even tell. I mean, I've been telling everybody this too, just to make them. You can find silver linings in just about anything, even in death. I tell them. They're like, "Well, how do you see silver lining in death?" I said, "Because that means that your legacy and people are going to get to talk about you, remember the things that you did in life, how you impacted their lives. Yeah, I may not be here to hear about it, but if it's touching somebody else's lives, that was the intention of what I'm doing here now in the first place,
Right.
was to reach out and just make that one impact on that one person. If I can do that, whether I'm here or not, to me, that's a silver lining in life. And
Yep.
it can carry on no matter what. So that's why I ask everybody, what kind of legacy? I've asked every single guest that I've had on, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind for yourself? And and I'm going to pose that to you now. What is the one thing that, when everything is said and done for Brandy Holloway, what is the one thing that you want to be remembered for once life has passed by?
I think it's twofold for me. I have set out, and as you said, that's why I think more people connect with me on Instagram. I'm pretty open and raw on Instagram, my personal Instagram. And I did that because I the legacy I think I want to leave is just for, and as a woman, I'm going to touch on that first. Just that you don't really owe anybody anything because you're a woman. You can definitely do anything as a woman, but I will say to women like me who have the daughters and the sons is that the legacy to me is like, you've got to take off the freaking blindfolds and know that they are watching and learning and doing literally everything you're doing. So some of us are frozen in fear. My book is called BS: The Stories We Tell Ourselves. So the whole point of that book was, I wished when I was growing up, and I get it, your parents and your peers and everything, they do the best that they can around you, right? But the legacy I want to leave behind is, I think it's time for us to expose ourselves a little bit more. I think it's time for us to drop the BS stories and know that if you truly love somebody, then you want their happiness, right?
Yeah.
You want them to be happy. So what's happiness? We've attached it to things and we've attached it to people, but actually it's neither of those things. It took me 40 freaking years to figure that out. So that's the one part of the legacy. The other with Girls on Fire, which I started a couple of years ago, is also, I think, the blind eye that's still being turned to what's happening to girls. I'm pretty open about, I was molested as a child, raped, kidnapped, like just crazy, crazy shit that happened to me when I was younger. It's still happening right now. It's probably happening in your neighborhood. And just for people to like be aware, like don't turn the eye anymore. Don't turn away from it if you know it's there. Of course, I'm on the East Coast, and like sex trafficking is huge. So I've tried to support different organizations with that, but to me, it's just literally like getting raw, getting naked with how you get, like your gut. Listen to your gut, pay attention to the red flags. And so any work that I'm doing, that's the legacy I'm trying to leave, is that people can just be themselves and not have to wear a label, not have to feel like they're wrong because you like blue and I like pink.
Yeah.
Or you like pink and I like blue.
Yeah.
I have that discussion with my son all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But there's a lot of people out there that'll be like, it's a girly color. And I'm like, here we go.
Yeah. So, and you don't have to, again, that's part of what you can learn. And literally, you can learn just wanting to figure out in life what happiness is, because again, I think it's something everybody goes after. Happiness can be a color. Happiness can be anything you want it to be.
What's interesting? You just said that is, you remember when you and I started talking at the beginning of this conversation? I've been really disappointed in a lot of people because, like I said, they've kind of been shaming people for how they feel.
Yeah.
Is everyone happy right now? Probably not. Probably not. But the thing is that I think that the takeaway, and I kind of reached out to someone who I watch, who I like, and I just sent I nudged a message because I'm 20 years older than he is.
Yeah.
And I said, look, people don't make you happy. Things don't make you happy. You're happy, and then you're happy around other happy people or negative people or whoever, right? But you have
Yeah.
to own your happiness. And I think that's the difference, the wisdom, right? So for me, a lot of what I want a lot of people to understand is happiness is defined, like you said, a color. I love that you said a color. A happiness can mean anything. Don't tell people they're wrong for that, but also like create the space for, if your happiness is a color and my happiness is my wine,
Yeah.
there's room for both. There's room for
Yes.
both of us to be happy. We don't have to battle what defines happiness, right? And so I think that's the funny thing is like just be accepting and create space. That's been a big, huge thing for me because I am naturally judgmental and critical of people.
Mm-hmm.
Very. I was raised that way, and I have to fight it all the time. And I'm like, like that's wrong or that's black and white. And I think when you can move beyond that, that's when you're happy.
Yeah.
But you have to understand that probably the reason you don't think you're happy is because you've allowed someone else to define that for you.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
Yeah.
When you define your own happiness and you own it,
Yeah.
meaning if you're not happy, it's your own freaking fault.
Yeah.
And you could have just gotten like punched in the face by somebody. I'm not going there, right? But I'm just saying, like, a lot of people are in domestic violence situations right now that are very heightened.
Yes.
Because of
No.
children,
Yeah.
spouses. So if you're not happy, somewhere you learned or decided that you weren't worth more, or you learned it, or both. And I've seen so many people reaching out. They're like giving them, I'm actually making a TikTok about this, kind of giving a tip on like, if you're going through this, here's a way you can reach out and let me know and I'll help you without alerting someone. But that doesn't mean you can't be a happy person. You're not happy about your situation.
Yeah.
But you can still find happiness. And I just want anybody that's like completely miserable right now, anybody that feels really alone, anyone that feels like, holy shit, I can't pay my rent, I can't pay my bills, my business is closed. Like I can hear thoughts literally every day. Like I feel like crazy because I feel people just like they have no alternative right now. You can be happy again. You can rise from the ashes. You can be the phoenix, but it's just going to take some time. And I love that once again, I just, happy, find the silver lining. You don't have to be happy when you find a silver lining. You can be grieving when you find a silver lining. You could have had something bad happen. People just had tornadoes and had their homes torn apart. I'm sitting in a home tonight with power and food in my fridge.
Yeah. And again, yes. And again, that goes, I'm taking my cues on some of these things from the perspective of like my son. A piece of candy will make him happy.
Yeah.
Because they don't know any different. They haven't been taught all these things. They haven't been shown the natures of the world. So they find the happiness in the little things.
Such a great example. Yeah.
And I use that. And I say, if my son can do that, and he has no inkling of what the rest of the world is, so can I. And I'm more knowledgeable. I'm learning from him.
Yeah.
Wisdom. Yeah. Wisdom can come from anywhere. Enlightenment can come from anywhere. You just have to look around and find it. And that's why I said kids are a wonderful example. Kids are as crazy as they can drive you. They also can teach you things. We know limitations. We know what all these things are because we're taught these things. A child can have a make-believe friend and believe that it's there, and they won't know what's right or wrong unless somebody teaches them.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's how strong their minds are. They're subconscious, and everything, that thing that they're imagining in their mind is real. It is there. We're the ones that say, "Hey, wait a minute! No, it's not. You're crazy. You're nuts. Yeah. Cut it out." Again, so I watch that and I see how they do, and I see them, and I go, you know what? Man, a lot of the answers in life are sitting there right in front of me. I just got to sit there and look for them. And I love that happiness, like you said, we don't have to define happiness as an object, as something tangible, as something. Happiness, again, a color, a piece of candy,
Yeah, like
whatever.
ask yourself the question, like what, a lot of people, I'm kind of anti affirmations myself, because I feel like people say, I am happy, I am successful, I am beautiful. And I'm like, depending on how much damage you've had done, which I'd had a lot, that just didn't never worked for me. But the first time I was introduced to questioning, um, was huge for me. And I'm like, what's one thing you can do to be happy, to feel happy right now?
Yes.
What's one thing you can do today to feel successful, to feel less anxious, to feel less work? And that's kind of where it starts. Is you got to open up, you got to create the space in your mind,
Mm-hmm.
physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You got to create that space for that thing to happen. And if you do that every day, if you ask yourself one question and allow yourself to answer it,
Yeah.
you know, there's no need to feel guilty. I think a lot of people, I when they don't want to go live and things like that, I always tell my clients, I'm like, I think you're being selfish. You're being selfish when you don't go live and you don't share your gift and you don't share your message because you're not helping people.
Yeah.
You're serving yourself. But I'm like, go live. Don't worry about, everyone else. And I know that's easier said than done, but that's
I've
happiness. We
I've
all
had
love helping people.
yeah, I've had great conversations with people. Awesome. I mean, amazing conversations. And I go, why the hell are we not sharing this right now? Do
Right?
you, do you do you know how much of what we just said could touch somebody and help somebody in a way? I said, that's why I don't do anything like this or anything like this without turning on a recording now. I'll jump on a live in a heartbeat. Somebody says, let's go on live. If somebody contacted me and said, hey, we're going live tomorrow in an hour to talk about this. All right, give me the link. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
Let's hit it.
Yeah.
Because again, I can share just about everything. We're sharing this now. So I'm going to this is what I'm learning to do is repurpose a lot of this content and sharing it and breaking it down. So I've been working on I already have 4 or 5 canned that I'm going to start introducing slowly because again, that's part of my progression and part of what I've written down in my goals is what do I want to do with what I'm doing here. It goes beyond just creating a viewership. It goes beyond that because again, I can take these little pieces of nuggets because there are nuggets in here of information that I love, and I go, let me break these down and start resending them out there and reusing them because somebody's gonna find it. And go, well, I mean, I got people. Look, I get people on here who comment now, who follow the show. They sit there and they'll tell me about all the things. They sit here and they interact and
Love it.
talk about So and they come on here and they share these sort of things. And even one was they were asking about. Oh yeah, do you do branding for musicians? So I don't know. Why don't you reach out to Miss Brandy?
So, what's funny? We just took on an author, and I love it. I love it. I think my honest answer to people, I obviously have a niche, but my answer to people is, if I'm connected to it, yes. If I'm not, I'll find you someone.
Yeah,
That's my biggest thing that I love about LinkedIn. Is I have an amazing community that if I can't help you, I can help you find someone.
yeah,
And I think a lot of people are missing the boat on that are entrepreneurs right now, that are doing podcasts, that are
yeah.
creatives, because there's a strong network and you can trust it. For the most
Yes.
part, you can really trust when you get a recommendation or a referral from
Pearl.
someone.
Yeah, and again, I'm getting people that I'm talking to as well. We get the same sort of way referrals through other people and that sort of thing. Hey, I can introduce. Love to. Please introduce me. Let us talk. Let's see
Yeah.
what we can do. See what we can build. Because again, it just gives me another avenue of somebody saying, if that person who I just talked to can recommend them and they trust them enough to send them my way, awesome. Bring it on. Let's go see. Let's get the conversation rolling. Let's go from there. Because again, I love sharing these sort of things and sharing these messages and getting this out here. Um, and again, I owe a lot of this, and I'm going to harp on this every time. I'm actually going to be on the show this Friday. It's Russ Johns. I thank him. I cannot thank him enough because he kind of walked me through this thing, and that's where I fell in love with what he was talking about. He always talks about kindness and compassion.
He's
And
a cool dude. Yeah, I was on his podcast.
yes,
Yeah.
Yes. So I love that message. Because again, I try to tell my kids about it. That's one of the things that I want instilled in them, because I got those things instilled in me as a young boy through my father. My father was, um, he was very stoic, but he also had his principles, and that's one of the things he always told everybody. You show somebody respect until they give you a reason not to, son. That's what you do. You go over there and again, he was different time, different start way that times that he grew up in. But again, my grandfather was military, all that sort of thing. So that got instilled in him. So he kind of passed it down to us a little bit, and I just took what I take those principles myself, but I also say, you know what, I'm my own person. I'm gonna throw my little creative aspect
Yes.
on it because
Yes.
that's what I do.
Yeah.
And
We have
that,
to, everything we've learned, the people that taught us had filters. We have filters for who we're teaching. And so, just, that's why I love the term create the space, be open. I evolve your possibilities, I guess is the best way to put it, is that if you really want happiness and abundance and a community, you have to evolve what you think is possible, because whatever you think is possible was probably taught to you by someone who had limiting beliefs. We have our own limiting beliefs. And if you keep sticking to that, it's like, then you're limited.
yeah.
So you gotta strip all that up. That's why I use the term burn, like burn
Mm-hmm.
to I'm like, you gotta burn through all that bullshit. You gotta burn through it. And then you rise just in a whole new sense of you. At the core, you're still you, but you're actually going to be stronger. You're going to be equipped with tools and tips and resources and all the things that you need to keep, going higher.
Yeah, and that's so awesome that you say that, because I'm like, I firmly believe everybody has their own path to enlightenment. We all share a same common DNA thread, but our minds are what's different, and each of them operates in a different way. Each of us is going to have a different way to get there. But again, there's no right or wrong way to say how to get there, what to get there. And you're going to find people that are going to kind of help you, guide you along that path, and say, hey, look, these are some of the things you need to do, or these are some of the things we all learn. That's the
Yeah.
whole thing. And we're going to learn. I'm going to learn until the day I'm die.
Yeah. You should, right?
Yeah. I hope. If you don't, you got a problem. You might be already on that at that point.
Yeah.
And I tell everybody what's the I hate the saying you can't teach a dog an old dog
Literally.
new
Yeah.
tricks. Oh, there was somebody who didn't want to really try. Sounds like to me they made up that stupid expression
Exactly.
because it doesn't matter the age. Doesn't matter. I'm learning something brand new at the age of 45.
That's when I started. I mean, we're September. I think September is our 3-year anniversary.
Yeah.
And I turned 48 in September. And I'm telling you, I feel more driven, more passionate. I'm learning more. There's so many things, and it's a choice. And just look, you love who you love, but that doesn't mean that what they say is what you put in the bank. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to deposit that. You can go out and find other things, and I think that's the biggest part with everyone in pivoting right now, is that when you're set in your ways, when you get to your comfort zone, we hear that term all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Once again, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a thought leader, if you really want growth in your life, there is no comfort zone.
Yeah.
Never.
100% agree. There's no. Even now, I've been doing this. Your episode 35, and I still don't feel totally
Awesome.
100% comfortable. So, you know, and I don't think it'll ever will. But again, that's part of what doing this is so that I don't want to feel stagnant in routine. I always like to shake things up, and again, I'm introducing new things into my broadcast. I'm introducing new things into how I'm going to interact, how I write, all these things, because again, that's my way of constantly learning.
Yeah.
That's again, I've started this about a month. No, this is my 5th week. So here it is, fifth going on 6 weeks now. I knew nothing again. I didn't know anything. I built a website from scratch for the first time. I've never done that. Um, So this whole thing, this whole year has been learning about, again, challenging in my own way of thinking, and
Yeah.
incredible things are happening. So that's why I tell everybody, just take a shot. I mean, what's the harm? I mean, you're gonna fail, right? Like you said
Yeah.
earlier, if you're
Yeah.
gonna fail, might as well fail doing something you love. Screw it.
Yeah.
So that's why. Guess what? You might not be a movie star, but if you want to go act and that's what you want to go freaking do it. If you're gonna fail at it, oh well. At least I think it would be better to say I failed at being an actor, but at least you went and tried to be an actor instead of not even trying it at all. Um, so I don't want that left on the table when I die. Is saying I didn't try whatever the heck I wanted to try.
Yeah, exactly.
That made me happy. So, all right, Brandy, thank you so much for coming on the show. Believe it or not, we've already been on for an hour, and it doesn't even seem like it. And I could probably keep talking. It does go fast when you're talking about it. So, all right, guys, thanks again for hopping on. I do appreciate everybody for following, and appreciate everyone for dropping in the comments. Again, guys, you can check out Brandy Holloway at her website, and it's www.thephoenixfactor.com. Go there, and you can find about a lot of the services that she does offer. And again, go check out her Facebook page. I think under the same name? The
So
Facebook?
my business is it's the Phoenix Factor, and then I have my personal page. And once again, I'm pretty upfront there, right? My business page is my business page.
Yeah.
I'm very open. Anyone follow my personal page is my Brandy Holloway, as well. But just know that I tell it like it is, mainly about myself. So
I want to tell you guys, follow along because it is entertaining as hell. There's a lot of good stuff on there. So.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you again. I'll see you tomorrow night, 7:00. And again, guys, please go check out. You can go check out this episode once it's done, or you can go check it in the podcast on the website. And again, thank you, Brandy, for hopping on.
Thank you.
I enjoyed the conversation, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night again, 7:00. You know where I'll be. See y'all tomorrow. Bye bye. So that was fun, right?